This conference will now be recorded.
You get everybody straightened out, don't you?
I mean, Jesus, come on. They know it's fucking 9 o'clock. We start. Let's go. They're all complaining, Mike. You know,
Yeah.
all they do is fucking complain. Are you on? Am I on?
Take the phone.
Call this meeting to order. Start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under announcements, the regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors will take place Monday, May 9th, 2023 at 9 a.m. at the Community Center, 3500 Edgewater Drive, Sebring, Florida. Please silence or turn off your cell phone. We will start with public comments on anything related to the consent agenda, but nothing that's on the action agenda at this time. Do we have any public comment? Come up here to the microphone, please, and state your name and address.
Carol Shoemaker, SCHU-MA.
Hang on, let's check the mic.
5583 Kansas Drive, right down the street. Okay, I have a couple questions regarding the installation of this new park, moving over or whatever, getting rid of the muck. We have a lot of people thinking there's going to be more basketball courts. They've said, and a lot of people at the pool and other places saying they aren't sure why we're extending basketball courts. Because about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday morning, people at the pool heard vulgarities for at least an hour, trash being thrown after they were eating snacks. But the worst was the peeing. They were at the pool and they can see them going to the toilets in the grass area. Now, come on, you guys, no more courts. And why can't we get a fence around it and cordon it off like we did the dog park? This is getting ridiculous. They aren't people from Sun and Lake. And I think we need, as residents, I've been here since '08, to know what's going on. The newsletter's been goofed up since it's no longer printed. So we're having trouble with some emails. The second fact, I'm a little disappointed. 3 out of 5 of the rec center people have left. I don't know why, but they were very, very helpful to everyone.
We had an incident that caused some of those people to leave. We're in the process of replacing those.
Yeah,
As far as the basketball courts, those are not the basketball court, the playground is being put into place.
mhm.
We're tearing down the old one because it's no longer valid for the kids. As far as the vulgarity and what happened out there, was security contacted you?
I called security and I immediately walked down Matanzas and talked to Cheyenne. She was very polite, wrote a note. So yes, I have called security more than once. I never heard back. And just disappointed in some of the changes that have gone on. So I know there's changes all the time. Angie at the front desk is gone, so they say back in 3 months. But just the turnover and the changes for people that have been here forever, it's upsetting. I have something that I did cut out of the newspaper that was online yesterday about the Sun and Lake ARPA. Although I see it's on the agenda and someone just said I can't talk about it, I'll make a brief statement. Arlene Tuck allocated $561,100 much less than our 1.5 million request. I'm not going to say names because I guess we don't have a utilities person yet.
We have people in the utility department who report to our general manager.
Okay, and then she stated that the money had been appropriated or misappropriated to the golf course for water.
That is incorrect statement on her part.
Would you please call the paper and let them know?
Well, I can't undo what they printed. They print what she says.
Well, I'll
She's
call her
not
up.
accurate.
I'll call her up. I know money was appropriated to the
Money
golf
was
course.
appropriated for specific equipment through ARPA, and that was approved. None of that money went to the golf course.
None.
Okay, I stand corrected, but that's being published. And I live here year round, so I had heard when that water on the golf course was started, that money was from the Sun and Lake for the improvements on some of our water. Okay, I read it.
That is corrected.
That is not correct.
The
Mike,
ARPA
that is
money,
not correct.
the ARPA money was
Mark?
from the county
From
and-
Okay,
ARPA money was for.
okay,
for the water.
Not
Right.
related to the irrigation
Okay.
of the
Right.
golf course.
I don't think he understands what I'm talking about.
Right.
What you're talking about.
Hers-
what
I
you're
know.
trying to say.
well,
That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
anyway, thank you.
I'm not allowed to.
You did pretty good without the mic.
Okay.
Daniel Garvin, 4505 Calatrava. I'd like to make a suggestion. Recently, there was a mailing asking for us to put in percentages. Is there a chance that could come, when they're all blank, is there a chance that could come with a history of the previous year? Give us an idea of what's being spent. I think it would make more sense. I think the responses would be better and probably a little less sarcastic than what some people I heard were going to say about putting percentages in for various things. You understand what I'm
Yeah, I
referring to?
understand what you said. We're just now starting the budget process. Let us look into that.
Yeah.
I think I can answer it. If we were to send it out again, we can certainly give you more information and make a determination.
Okay, super.
Right now, what came out for this year, that's it.
Yeah.
But if in the future, if we decide to do it, we can assure that more information will be with it.
I was going to cover this in my report, but I can speak to it more now if you wish.
Not right now.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, all. Thank you all for doing a great job for the community. We appreciate it, my family. Security does a great job. I was away and somebody tried to break in my house and they didn't succeed. And I appreciate security keeping a watch on my home a couple of times while I was away. A couple of things I want to discuss is first and foremost is when we have income from tournaments and other ways that when you have this rented out, how do you decide what the revenue goes toward? Third of all, numerous people on Ponce de Leon still park their cars on the lawn and do other things like keep metal trash in their backyards, which right now I know it's being handled. What do the letters say when they go out? And do they get fined? And if they don't get things off their property, what do you end up doing? And the third thing I want to ask is, if somebody wants to run for the board up here, are you allowed to campaign? If not, why can't you campaign? Or what type of rules are there to campaign? Thank you for your time.
Okay.
You can campaign if once you're running for the board. There's no restrictions on campaigning. No, you can't.
It depends on the seat that you're going for. If you're going to sign up for the seat, the public seats, You go through downtown
to sign up.
and they give you direction as to what you can and what you can't do. If you, for example, if you campaign, you have to keep accurate records and report it every 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is, but they can certainly give you all the information. If you're going to run for the landowner seat, if we still have a landowner's opportunity, again, you can campaign, but that's pretty much, you just do that on your own. There's no guidance at this point.
And in relationship to the code enforcement, they are given a written statement of violation, and they have so many days in order to correct us. If they don't, then we start fining them, and the fine continues on. Some of it will go into in front of a magistrate if they feel like they're being improperly. And so far, we have still areas that need improvement. We understand that, and we're working towards getting that improved.
The income from the golf goes to the golf course.
That stays within the golf course. Now, as far as the community center, that goes into the administrative fund,
Goes into recreation.
into the recreation fund, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Justiniano Alegre. I'm living in San Ana Lake for 2017 in Ponce de Leon Boulevard. As soon as I got a short time to say what I have to say, I'm going to read it. When you exit from the roundabout, you pass the urgent care, go to Ponce de Leon, looks like you never in San Ana Lakes anymore. The reason I feel like that is because there's trash cans out all week, cars parked in the grass all the time, brushes everywhere, mechanical job is done in the driveways, fishing boats is parking in the driveways, commercial trucks is parking in the driveways, weeds and grass is stolen on time and several times. This area in San Ana Lake is neglected at best. When I have called previously and asked that code enforcement just drive down and straight on multiple cars parking in the grass, they're going to tell me, give me the address. I'm not working for code enforcement to give you address. I am asking that the code enforcement through San Ana Lakes in the same manner like it's in everywhere. I realize it's some rentals in the IS3, whatever. That you guys have to be enforcement in the way the owners has to follow up the codes. There's no reason not to follow up the code. We pay San Ana Lake assessment like in other parts, older parts and the new parts. We pay the same assessment, so we deserve the same care in an area. I sent couple emails, more than couple, in all this time I'm living there. I don't know what is this, the security guys done, running all day around there, wasting the San Ana Lakes gas. They don't do anything. I don't see anything from 2017 to this time. Behind my house, somebody's like creating dump yard or scrap yard. They dump all appliances. I call many times. I'll show pictures many times. Nobody's doing anything. I think we deserve better care the San Ana Lakes and the whole area. Gracias. Thank you.
Yes, and we will look into it.
Matter of fact, I was there yesterday. They said, oh, we notify. So you notify and you give up.
If we notify them, they have certain amount of days in order to correct it.
I'm telling you, I'm living from 2017.
Same thing. Okay, understand.
Thank you.
Let's see what we can do.
Good morning. My name is Mike Barney. I live at 3741 Catalina, which is right on the very south end of Catalina. Also, I have a half of a duplex on Surrey Avenue. I want to thank security especially. We had a squatter in this 13 and a half acres right here by Edgewater and Granada. And I'm an early riser, always have been, so I'm up at daylight, and Anyway, it was weird how they worked. Coming in early in the morning, they actually had bicycles. There was a young girl that was with them too that just blew my mind. But anyway, I called. Most of the time it was after security regular hours and whoever was on call. But when I called, just to make them aware of it, within 10 minutes, they were sitting there at the corner. And then anyway, within a week or two, they were gone. And as far as the last gentleman, his complaints, I concur. I just wonder if it's possible, as I drive around, my wife and I drive around, and we look. We love it here. I mean, I've been here since 2012. Unfortunately, I'm not able to play golf this year because I played pickleball and screwed up my Achilles, and I'm upset about that. But I just wonder, and I don't know if you can put it on the letterhead, but it'd be nice to, as we see things we don't like, if we could, as we looked at our monthly letter, that address is on there. There's a refrigerator and a stove and stuff in the backyard. Look at the list. Is it on there? I don't know if you can do that, but if I know that it's being looked at and those people are being talked to, like you say, which I know they are, implementing it and getting it done, I know that's tough too. But right down there at the corner of Catalina, when you turn off of Sun and Lakes and go north, or excuse me, south on Catalina, those first two duplexes there, the one, nobody's there. Obviously the second one where the garage door is open all the time, that guy had a mess there. It was just an eyesore. Well, you turn off of Sun and Lakes, you look down there, but anyway, you guys obviously have said something to him. It looks much better. I know it's a slow process, but again, if there could be something, addresses that was on the monthly report, that as far as what's being looked at and who has gotten a letter to, get their mess cleaned up would be helpful. Otherwise, thanks.
Thank you. We'd look into it. Sounds like we need to sit down and do some work on code enforcement. Any other public comments? Moving along, we have a message from Scott Kerouac.
Good morning, residents, boards. Scott Kerouac, County Commissioner, District 3. A couple of things to update you on. I spoke last year about a sidewalk project that we'd gotten funding for Sun and Lake Boulevard, down from your district office, going back towards the east. That project got held up a little bit because, like everything else in today's world, it went out for bid. The bids come in about $100,000 higher than what the project was originally estimated for. We went back to DOT. We were granted the additional funding. That all has been put in place at our last commission meeting, so that project is ready to go now. I've been informed that when I reported last year that was supposed to be done by July. It looks like it's going to be done by, I'm being told, in September because of the delay and the extra cost. Also, our staff has been, and I've been in communication with administration about the issue that you folks have been having with school traffic out there on Sun and Lake Boulevard. That is a school district issue. We've made them aware of it, your school board attorney aware of it, and they are working with staff and work with the sheriff's department. I know they've had a few meetings out there, and they're working on a solution to get in place for the next school year. We've got roughly about a month left in this school year. Appreciate the efforts from the district out there and helping out with that. That is a school board issue, but I'm keeping my ear to the ground on that. Also, the lady spoke earlier about in the paper about the ARPA projects. If y'all recall, certainly I'd went to bat for the district because you folks were going through some management changes at the time and missed a deadline in applying for ARPA funding. I was successful in getting you $561,100 for some wastewater projects that you have out here, and through some changes in some of your utility management. figured a better use on some of that money on some mobile pump units instead of 4 permanently mounted units that can be moved around in the time of a storm. So of course, that took another amendment to shift that money to that use. That was all approved a 4-1 with Commissioner Tuck be the dissenting vote. And to clear up what the paper had said, ma'am, and what have you, it's just a lot of misinformation on her end. She didn't do her research. That money came into the county. We'd put it out there. Like I said, you folks had went through some management changes, missed a deadline. They didn't feel that the citizens of this community, the taxpayers of this community, the hospital or the school should suffer from that. And we were able to get your application in and get it approved. So that is now a done deal. I don't believe that will be coming back in front of us again. So, that's all good news. We're in budget time, like I think you folks are also. So we will be immersed in that, for about the next 6 months and trying to put together the best budget that we can moving forward. We face the same challenges as you do here in the district. The cost of everything is going up. Cost of employees are going up. And, that can be a tough lift when it comes to funding every year. So we're looking at a lot of different options. But that's all I have for you today. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Yeah, I never got a chance. This article that came out on March 27th, the first time you guys passed it,
Yes, sir.
the article, I just want to thank you for what it says in here because it sounds like you got up to bat for us.
Yeah, certainly, Commissioner Tuck Commissioner Rapp that was finishing Commissioner Elwell's term from 2020 to 2022. As you know, he re-ran for his seat and he was successful in that. She was a dissenting vote also. So I think she really just didn't have good information. And so it was her and Commissioner Tuck, but us other 3 commissioners, myself, Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Roberts, have been behind this since day one. We've continued been behind this. And our most recent vote was 4-1. Commissioner Elwell also voted for the budget amendment to shift the money into the new uses that we just spoke about. So it was 4-1. Commissioner Tuck, she had some issues with, she didn't understand all the details of the challenges that you folks were faced with when it came to your golf course and the water management district and what you had to do. Okay. So she had some issues with that, but you guys I feel you're doing a good job. You're doing the best with what you have to work with. And I feel that you folks out there was as eligible as everybody else was for some of that ARPA funding. And we were successful in getting you over $500,000 in funding that's in place, ready to go. And that'll lessen the burden on the people paying assessments out here. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. Our board is like any other board. Not everybody's going to agree all the time. We all just have to try to do our research and make the best decisions we can moving forward. But appreciate what you folks are doing in your service.
Thank
Thank you.
Yep, okay, thank you. Take care.
Need to jump back a minute on the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting held on April 3rd, 2023.
So move.
Second.
Call a vote.
Supervisor Brooks,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin,
Yes.
Supervisor Hurley,
Yes.
President Herrick.
Yes. Action agenda, speed table policy change. We've discussed at previous meetings about the 20 signatures being what we felt was wrong. What we have in front of us is the current policy, which says that the owners of at least 20 district lots adjacent could request the speed table, and we're changing that to say that it's 10 district lots. Any discussion from the board?
I guess my only question would be, is that the only way we're going to do speed bumps? For example, if we find that the machine that we have is somewhere within the district and it comes back with a report that says the speeding is excessive, do we do anything about that, or is this going to be the only channel that we have?
You guys will still have the ability to do it yourself. This is the way that the public requests it.
Oh, so we still have the ability to.
Correct.
Mhm. Okay.
In addition, we have talked to the sheriff's department and asked them to step up patrols for speeding in the district, period, but also in places where we see excess speeds based on the radar sign. So you
That's
can
fine.
either hit a speed bump or you can get a ticket, one or the other, but
Okay.
My only question, Dan, is that I'm all for speed bumps. I think they're good in some cases, but I'm not so sure if we should make it easier, but I guess I'll go along with the majority of the board, but we still have the authority to, if they come in with just 10 signatures, we can say yes or no. It's up to the board, right?
that's correct.
Well,
I just don't want to make this whole process
it
a
still,
lot easier. That's all.
it still has to come in front of the board for approval. And it will be on the action agenda item. And if we have people that are in that neighborhood that don't want them, and they have their opinion, and will have the right to speak about it at that time. And then we have to make a decision.
I assume it would come before the board and then we would put the machine out wherever they're talking about
Agree.
to see if there's, first of all, a reason for us to entertain it.
Right.
And then we would go and ask the people in the neighborhood if they want it, correct?
Yeah, basically, this lays out the process for the public to request a speed bump.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Any public comment? Call a vote?
Supervisor Phillips?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
Supervisor Hurley?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yes.
President Herrick?
Yes. Next thing on the action agenda item is the county agreement for RPAC funding for the playground. That's Cindy.
Yes, as I had previously reported to you, we submitted a request to the county RPAC committee, RPAC being the Recreational Parks Advisory Committee. They approved our request for $108,500 towards the new playground project. So what you have in your packet is the agreement between us and the county to receive that money. So after your approval, this will go back to the county for their approval.
Any board comments?
I guess the only question I have is this opens it to the public, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board comment? Public comment?
A correction, it will have to be open to the public, similar to the way the pool is. You don't necessarily have to have it wide open. You can have outside non-residents as members, but you can charge for that membership if you so desire.
Is that something we want to entertain? I mean, we're going to be done in 2 or 3 months with it.
Correct. That's up to you guys. I just want to make sure you understand that we can put up a fence if we think it's necessary.
I think there is some, in my opinion, some food for thought that was maybe brought up by this young lady of fencing in the area. That is the only way that we will be able to control who goes to that basketball court. We have gates around the racket club. We have gates at the dog park. We have gates at the pool. I'm not so sure that we shouldn't entertain the possibility of fencing in the playground, including the basketball courts. And they have to get access in order to go in there, and we'll know who they are and when they're there.
We can certainly do that if that's your desire.
You're talking about one big fence around the playground and the basketball court?
Yes. Either or.
Either
I mean,
or.
I think we could, as I would see it, a smaller height gate would be applicable to the playground, but we may need a higher fence for around the basketball court, just to keep the basketball inside the court, for one thing.
We may need concertina wire on top of it. They climb the 9-foot fence into the racket court. So, I mean,
I was, just, excuse me, Craig. I was under the impression that we were, for some reason, we put this off, because I kind of wanted to close it. And I guess we were talked into waiting until the playground. I mean, I still would like to discuss taking the hoops down and doing something else with it. I think it's not good for the community, especially now where it is. So I hope that we will revisit this whenever. I just don't understand why we have to wait so long to make a decision on it, but
Well,
I would like to get rid of the basketball courts. And I'd like to have a discussion about it sooner than later, about if we keep it. Okay?
Well, we've been discussing this for years about the basketball court. We've had trouble every week at the basketball court. We've had fights, we've had supposedly shooting and stuff. And I think we should discuss it right now. Do we want the basketball court or do we not? Because if we put a fence around it, that's more cost than anyone look at the cost of fencing. Dan?
I also recall that when we brought that up at a meeting, there were several people that said their kids come over here and play, not just the kids outside that are causing the problems. I think it's an appropriate item to have for the young children in this area if they want to play ball. But we have to control it.
Right,
And the only way
absolutely.
we're going to be able to control it is put a fence around it.
Mhm.
Once we put the fence around it, that should eliminate the issue that we have with maybe the wrong individuals coming down here to play and causing the problems that we've been having. So I think it's something that, from what the people that were at that particular meeting said, that they have kids that like to come over here and play. Now, probably are deterred a lot of times by the people that are out there trying to play and hogging the court.
Correct.
So I'm open to having a conversation about it, but I am not, I originally was in favor of closing it because of the problems that we're having, but I think the real issue is controlling access.
I guess at this point, we should probably look into what would it cost to enclose the whole area versus just the basketball court, and I can have that done. It's probably similar to the dog park. It's more expensive to put the gates and the control in than it is to actually put the fence in. But a fence is only as good as the people that are trying to get over it or under it, because seriously, they climb the fence around the tennis court, and that thing must be 10 feet high.
Exactly.
And it's certainly not people our age that can do it, because I couldn't climb it with a ladder. So it's the young kids that are from out of our area, but I can get a price on what it'll cost to do that.
I think we ought to wait until we get this new facility built, and then we can take a look at it and probably make a better judgment than we can now. Right now, we have no clue what we're dealing with.
I agree, and as a part of it, we'll bring the cost back to you, and this is what you can do, and this is what, if you want to
I mean,
do.
it may be that we get rid of the court, it may be that we enclose it. I mean, I don't think we know until the playground gets built.
Correct.
I think then we can go out and look at it and get a better feel for it.
I think what we don't want is what we're having now, which is what the lady addressed earlier, that we have some undesirables that are from out of our area coming in and causing problems. I have on my note some things to do to talk to the security right now.
Yeah, we can always have posted rules of conduct, and if they're violated, we just no trespass people. And once they've been no trespass, it becomes the sheriff's department's issue.
Problem is identifying.
Yeah.
Right.
Once we register them, then we have the identity.
Well, we have a new camera system coming in,
Well, that's true too.
but what we need to do is get it on the agenda so we can take a vote, because it's not on the
We
agenda.
need to vote on it instead, I guess
Well, I
getting the
think we gotta-
cost is fine, but.
We gotta look at some of that. All right.
Yeah.
We'll
It's
do.
just
I'll
one
put
thing
that, I'll
after
put that on my list of things to do.
Okay, getting back to this. Yes.
Please use the mic. Could step to the podium. Thank you. If you could repeat your name into the microphone, please.
Sure.
Paul Pelski. I'm a resident across the street at 5568 Matanza Golf Village. One question would be, do you have cameras over this playground area?
We will.
You will? Okay, that's good. We've got a problem over there. I'm not on the board, the HOA, but I represent them often because I'm the year-round resident versus the snowbirds that are predominantly making up the board. And we've had this problem with youngsters jumping our fence to get into the pool, getting up on the roof of the pool house and jumping from there into the pool at great liability. We've had a poor camera system in that didn't help us really identify, so we upgraded that just recently. And it seems like we're getting better control over it. But height of fence and all that started to make a difference because kids were finding ways to drag the furniture from the pool over so that they could help use that to jump the fence. Of course, we don't have basketball size fencing, but the second question I would probably have is this other consideration for the basketball court. It would be, I don't know, I know we just added pickleball courts over at the rec center. Is there something else that would be more usable, get more use? And of course, that's got to be offset by, we've got to provide things for younger residents in the community to obviously.
Yeah, I don't want to take the concrete out. I just.
Right, no, I understand. I just wanted to raise those as a couple of questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have to go to the mic and just say something real quick?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Only thing I was gonna suggest would be, living right there in that corner, I hear every word, I hear every pickleball, it's fine, I love it, but when the kids are playing basketball, what normally happens is when they come from all other areas, is because they can play cross court. For the needs of the residents and the grandkids and the kids that come to visit, if you just had a smaller area with one goal, I think it would eliminate all the roughness and all the things that come along with it. That being said, that could be made a lot smaller, or as I think he was talking about, you've already got a fence over there that's enclosed. If you could put a goal up someplace over there, maybe adjacent to one of the tennis courts that wasn't being used, that nobody, or something like that. Anyway, I just think a smaller area would cut down on a lot of the aggressiveness and the language and stuff, because the older kids wouldn't be coming to play. It'd be the young kids, let's put it that way.
Thank you. That's a good idea.
That is. Put it all over there.
Smaller court.
Yeah.
Okay, getting back to the interlocal agreement. Any other further discussion from the board? Any discussion from the public? Call the vote.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
Supervisor Hurley?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yeah.
Supervisor Phillips?
Yes.
President Herrick?
Yes. Add-on items,
None.
petitions and communications,
None.
staff reports. Mr. Lemire and Mr. Murphy. Golf.
Good morning, supervisors. Jimmy Murphy, golf course superintendent. Well, we're just starting to get ready on our summer cultural practices right now. As you can tell, we've already have Turtle Run, tees aerified, collars aerified over there. We started on Deer Run yesterday. I would like to go ahead and say that probably next week, I'd like to, if, we were talking with Jason and Mike this morning, see if I could go ahead and start doing some light verticutting on the greens as well, on golf courses, on the opposite golf courses. And if we're only doing 150 rounds a day, if there's an opportunity to do some shifting, so we can go ahead and start getting some of this stuff done. The sooner we get it done, the quicker we're gonna get healed in. But I'd like to start verticutting and top dressing next week if that's possible. Just a light one, nothing heavy. And then of course the 22nd of May when we're scheduled, I'd go a little bit more on them. But I just really need to go ahead and start doing it. We haven't touched them this spring, as you know, but I'd get that done. The seeding is done on holes 15 and 16. Also did between 18 and 10 with the Argentine Bahia and the brown top millet. Of course, you've seen the riprap's done. We're gonna meet this afternoon and try to look at fixing that, cleaning that area up a little bit more on 16 and 17 with Mr. Hornick and Dan and myself, and hopefully come up with something a little more presentable there as well. Other than that, we're just trying to get ahead of everything as far as the aerifications go, staying on a good program. And as you guys know, this is Tommy's last week, so we did hire one of the assistants from the municipal golf course. Kind of gave him 90 days to see if it's going to work, so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, I mean, we're pretty happy where we're at, and I don't have a whole lot there unless you all have questions for me.
I got one question for you on Bahia grass. Does it need water to grow, or does it not need water to grow?
So the seed takes about 30 to 35 days to germinate. So you put the brown top millet on it, you'll see it come up first. We might have a couple of touch-up areas out there, but once it germinates, it's pretty good. I mean, it's probably the most drought-tolerant grass we can plant on golf courses. Doesn't need a lot of irrigation. But it will go like it did this spring without the irrigation. It will get brown. But as soon as the rains start back up, you'll see that stuff this week green up from the little bit of rain that we have had.
I'm not talking about greening up. I'm saying, will it grow without water? Or do you have to water it? That's all I'm asking.
No, I mean, it goes dormant if you don't water it, but it pops right back as soon as it gets water.
Because the only thing I appreciate what you're doing. I think it's a great idea if it works. But if we had grass there once upon a time, like between 10 and 18, and it didn't grow because we cut it and there was no irrigation system or what have you, what makes us think by putting seed down it's going to work?
So before you had Bermuda grass there. So the Bermuda grass has to be watered heavily. And you had irrigation there prior. So the Bahia, I mean, all of our golf courses that we've ever built, we've always put Bahia in those areas because it didn't need to be irrigated. But granted, in a drought, it's going to go off color, but it'll still be there. It'll bounce back. It's definitely a lot more tolerant than the Bermuda is in those spots.
Okay, so you're comfortable that it's going to take?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and really, if it gets to that point, then if we need to add a head there, we can always add a head. I don't aesthetically want it to look like that the whole time myself. So, in a month or so, we should be able to see what comes up there. And if we're okay with it, then if not, then I'll add a head and we'll put the Bahia there and establish it a little better, but definitely want to clean that area up and make it look better.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I guess just to add in for the audience's understanding, when we did the new irrigation system on Deer Run, it was not particularly to irrigate the fairways better. It was to stop irrigating the roughs because our allotment was reduced by Southwest Florida Water Management. And we had to, about 15, 20% cut? 20% cut. That's the reason we had to do a new irrigation system. And the one there was 50 years old or close to. Back then, they didn't care how much water you pumped out of the ground. Now they do.
Good morning, supervisors. Michael Muir, Golf Course General Manager. As you guys know, I took some PTO last week, so I do apologize about, the handout this week, but Ms. Quarles was nice to me this morning because she knew I was off too. So as I stated in my report yesterday, as you can tell, obviously we're coming out of season. You can see the dramatic drop off in rounds per day. Also, that correlates into the restaurant. So we got to start making a lot of adjustments with, staffing. Also got to keep a close eye on any opportunities we have to create some more business. In April, we definitely had quite a few events. The Florida State Golf Association junior event went really well. AJGA event went really well. They were very thankful to be here. I got a stack of thank you cards from all the players on my desk. One I think's in Japanese, so I have no idea what that poor kid said. But it was really nice and humbling that they really enjoyed it here. And I know we had a small incident with one of their interns or their interns with the restaurant food or whatever. But I don't want you to have a bad opinion on the AJGA. They're really a world-class act. So we look forward to having them back. We do have some events coming up here still. We got the Citrus Grower Tournament coming up on the 27th. The FFAA tournament's May 4. Choices Tournament is May 6. I apologize. I think I had May 5th on there in my report yesterday, but it is the 6th. Safford Memorial Tournament on the 13th, and we have the MGA Memorial Day couples on the 29th. On the restaurant side, we got Trivia Night on the 1st. We have the annual Chamber Banquet on 5/12. Now, in years past, that event used to be in January, but due to COVID, they canceled it one year, and then they ended up moving to May, which is actually better for us. So it's good to have that on the 12th. That is a full building event. We have our Mother's Day brunch come up on the 14th. We do have dinner and music on the 19th. We have a new event, the Heartland Corp Gala. That's a whole building event too. I got to familiarize myself with that one a little bit because that is a new one. So I'll be looking into that to see what that's all about. And we got bingo on the 22nd. As I stated last time, the March financials were looking pretty solid. I do have them in, so I'll be sending them over to the district probably today or tomorrow. Came in ahead of plan, probably by about 10K. The April forecast is looking very good as well. Should be right at budget. I sent that to you yesterday as well. Might be slightly ahead of budget there, but pretty much right on plan. And I know I'll owe you a few tournament recaps. I'll get those to you by the end of the week here too, as far as the financials for all those. So other than that, working on budget, meeting with these guys this afternoon. But if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
The choices, I'm sorry. The choices tournament. Do you have any idea how many people are participating yet?
I don't have a number for that. I know in the past they've filled up one full course and they're looking for more room to play. But I will when I send out the other information, I'll tell you what they intend to have.
My point being that we need to advertise that the Sun and Lake members get a discount. We don't have to pay the whole $100. We only have to pay $70. That's what it costs a Sun and Lake member to play in the Choices Golf Tournament. And I think you're losing out on a lot of teams because some people are saying, why should we pay $100 to play on our own golf course? And you say, well, because it goes to Choices, the tournament, the charity. And they still don't like that.
I'll clarify that with Miss Lisa.
Please clarify that?
Yep.
And double check and make sure my number's right. That's what Jason said yesterday.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to confirm. So you're going to send out results of that AJGA?
Yeah, I'll get you that. And
that was a great event.
Yes, it's a great event. Kids from, yeah.
I have one other question. I'm not even sure I should bring this up. What is the status of the chef?
I think that's what Mr. Craig was saying. So I haven't spoke to him yet, but so he's gone through the background check and his onboarding process has started. But if I have some more information to you by the end of the week, I'll fill you guys in. Okay.
Isn't he scheduled for May 1?
Yeah.
Well, so it's probably pushed back by a little bit, a week or so, and I got to get with Dan here to work out some stuff. But I'll have a full update for you by the end of the week.
So, but he's Chef. Excuse me, I don't remember his
Mac.
name.
So
Chef Mac is not leaving before Chef New One comes on board.
That is correct. So Chef Mac is scheduled to pretty much be here through the Mother's Day brunch.
So you'll let us know.
Sorry?
Just through the Mother's Day?
Well, at least. So that was a target for us to make sure that the Mother's Day brunch, obviously, that preparation for that has to come in quite a bit ahead of time. So I wanted to make sure we were prepared and ready to go for that.
So you're going to let us know?
Yeah, I'll follow up with you. I didn't do a whole lot last week, so I'll get caught up with you guys.
Okay. I got one other question. Friday night you had entertainment up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was up there with my wife and some other people, and I think I counted 17 people from Center Lake up there that I knew,
Mhm.
that I could recognize. It was a horrible turnout. So I guess the question is, one, should we even have an event or entertainment at that time of the year
Yeah.
since nobody showed? Or two, are we not communicating that there's an event at the club to attract people to come in? I don't know what the answer is, but I can tell you based on what I saw Friday night,
Mhm.
it was a horrible showing.
Yeah, I haven't looked
And
at
the
the
guy was
numbers.
good.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the numbers for that, but yeah, it's possible. So I'll have to see, sometimes the event or, the entertainment that we have dictates a lot of that. Some folks kind of have their own following that follow them around. And obviously we see what happens when we have the Sun and Lake SNL Drive event in here. Everybody comes to that. So I'll look at that and evaluate it and see what, if we didn't advertise it enough, maybe we'll do it more. But I know we got the one coming up here soon. So
I mean, I don't have the answer for you, but I can tell you that we always seem to advertise to the same people all the time,
mhm.
right or wrong. And those people obviously for this event did not respond very well.
Yeah, so I'll evaluate it and we'll obviously make decisions off of that.
And I bring it up because I think you have entertainment scheduled for next month.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see. And then, we mix it up. If they don't work, we find something else to do. So.
Or maybe this summer we just do nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying, because you have
Yeah.
to contract with somebody, you got to staff up in
Yep.
case there are people. I mean, there's all kinds of expenses involved. And if we're not going to,
No, I agree. So sometimes you got to throw stuff at the wall, see if it works and reevaluate. But I'd say it's hard to do nothing, but we'll find something to do.
I just thought I'd
Yeah.
throw it out because again, it was a dismal show.
Some things work and some don't. You just.
Well,
that's
I've been
just
here
the
when
way-
this guy sold out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not the entertainer.
Yeah.
So it's either the communication or it's something else that we're doing wrong because the guy's very popular here.
Or timing. Yeah. But we'll definitely look at it.
Who was it? Rick Arnold.
Yeah. Rick's been pretty good for us in the past.
Yeah, he had a following. He had 2 or 3 tables.
Right.
of
And he's
people
one of the
there.
ones that has his own following. And maybe, I think, we've had him earlier in the year at times. And that may be when he gets a better showing. So.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
General Counsel, David?
Morning Supervisors. Okay, Avanti suit, we had a case management conference last week. Judge Estrada has put us on a 30-day track to finalize all informal mediation. If we can't get it settled within the next 30 days, he's going to put us on a trial track, and it'll basically map out how that's going to occur. Had a conversation with Mr. Rhodes last week as well. It's my understanding that this week he's going to be sending the formal written settlement offer to Avanti's attorney. And so hopefully we'll know one way or another if we're going to trial or if we're going to have it settled informally within the next 30 days. I put in you guys' packet, we got a submission from Mr. Hornick's attorney. It kind of shows this map of we're under our contract. We're supposed to provide 25 acres for tortoise rehabilitation areas. This is the 25 acres. Actually, it's a little lower. It's almost 27.694 acres. So I've already responded to him saying that, while we appreciate this map, what we've agreed to is provide you 25 acres. Anything over 25 acres, you're going to get charged for, and we'd really prefer that you would show us a border survey of what you want, not just a list of lots that you want. So hopefully we'll be getting a response to that back here within the next 30 days or so about the actual area that we want, so we can figure out either if we're going to have to charge him more money or if it's all going to fit within the 25 acres that we promised him. But this should give you a kind of a rough idea of where the habitat's going to be.
I couldn't figure it out. Sorry.
You can't.
You gave
from
us a
that-
listing of all the blocks that comprised the 27 acres.
That's
Correct.
what they
And I
want.
can't find the numbers on here at all.
Well, that's just, they're outlined in the red.
I'm sorry?
They're outlined in the red
In the
area,
red,
In the
Up
red.
here,
or the pink, whatever that color is.
up there.
But the issue really is, this is more than 25 acres, one, just in the lots. And then two, you also have
This is black and
streets
white.
and other stuff in there. So this is more like 35 acres than 25 acres when you get right down to it. So we've asked them to show us the 25 you want. as opposed to sending us a whole bunch of lots.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I have a black and white page. I don't.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
They explained it to me. So it's all the areas that are blocked and circled, squared
Yeah,
in,
correct.
that don't have any numbers.
Yeah, they're, at least even on my color one, it's very difficult to see, but yeah. So we had Drew map this out. And so like I say, the plan is to have them come back to us with either like a border survey of the area that they're looking for that totals, hopefully closer to 25 acres than what we're looking at here. Because if we were to give them all these and they were to vacate the streets and the rights of way and stuff, they'd end up with even like 30, like Dan said, like 30 plus acres.
All right, so just help me on one thing. Let's look at can you find 224 on your map?
Yes.
Okay, that, now down to or up on top of that 224 is a blocked area. That's for the,
Yep.
that's
17,
the area
18,
that
19,
you're
20,
talking
and
about.
21, correct.
So that area will not be developed, but the rest of the block will?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what they're asking here, and that's what we're telling them, that's not going to work.
Oh, okay, so we're saying this is not acceptable.
Correct. We want a contiguous border that shows the 25 acres that they want.
So we just want to cut out 25 acres and call it a day. He wants us, according to this, spread it all over the place.
Yeah, and that's not gonna.
Okay, thank you.
Never hurts to ask. You don't just necessarily have to get. So
Okay,
we'll figure it out.
I got it. Thank
You
you.
think that's where the tortoises are? It's all these spots in there?
Probably not.
Okay.
They're scattered all over the place. I mean,
Doing it sporadic.
but he's going to have 25 contiguous acres that are fenced so that the tortoises can't get out once you put them in there.
Good.
So it won't work out like this.
Good,
I guess
good.
that's their first pass.
Thank you.
That's all I've got, unless there's questions.
Okay. I got a question. On the employee handbook that we're looking to update one of these days, you think it'll be done before the end of the year?
Are you talking employee handbook, or are you talking the policy manual?
Policy manual, I'm sorry.
Well, let's say, yeah, I've been making some notes, and the goal is that once the new general manager comes in, we kind of, because that was part of the prior contracts. I think that was part of the contract. I know when Tanya came in, that was one of the conditions of her contract, was to review the policy manual for any potential updates that were needed.
But we've already updated it. I thought we were waiting for the county to approve it.
No. So now you're talking about the ordinance. Okay. Yeah, the ordinance. Yeah, the ordinance that changes the voting policy and gets rid of the landowners.
But it was also the trash can, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's all ordinance.
Those are all ordinance.
That's all ordinance, correct.
Okay, and that goes into what vehicle once it's approved?
That goes into that's the county. So what happens is we've submitted to the county the changes that we're requesting.
Right.
The county attorney is supposed to be reviewing that, and then we'll get back to us and say, if you want you want me to recommend this to the Board of County Commissioners for approval, this is the language that I want used. That language will then come back to you guys for approval. And then once you've approved it, county attorney's approved it, it goes before the Board of County Commissioners for approval, and then it'll get, the ordinances will be amended with that new language.
Should we plan on having a landowners meeting this year?
I sent a email to the county attorney saying, hey, this is our time frame, because basically the way I see it, if this isn't resolved by October, then we're going to have to plan for a landowner meeting. So at this point in time, considering I still haven't gotten a response from the county attorney, my guess is we're going to be probably having one more landowner meeting.
Have they give you any reason why it's taking so long?
No.
I mean, I was gonna ask Scott, but I didn't want to, I mean, it just.
It's other than the
My
assistant,
God, what did they?
other than the assistant county attorney resigned.
Yeah, I think that's
but All we need is a yes or no.
Well, no, it's a little bit more than a yes or no, because like I say, we've submitted the language that we want, and she's got to review that and update it to what she wants it to say. Yeah.
Well, how long does she have to do it? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well,
Wait on everything.
I
mean,
agree.
I'm not complaining, that's why I didn't want to bring it up to him, but.
Well, I wish you did.
I'll start, I think I've been communicating or emailing directly to the county attorney, and I'm pretty sure Dan's been forwarding those emails to.
I forwarded the emails to Scott just for his information and so that he can be up to speed and that it isn't getting full attention anywhere except our side.
Mhm.
But we have zero leverage. It's kind of
Well,
like
yeah,
ask
I know.
nicely.
And all we want, in my mind, is yes or no. It doesn't seem to be
It would
that.
be nice if it were that simple, but
Yes, it would.
Yeah, well,
very few
nothing
things
is
really
simple.
are.
Okay, Cynthia, Community Service Director.
Yes, so I just want to give you a brief update on what we've been doing with communications. So obviously, when I started here, I got right on board with the daily Facebook post, so getting things out to the public on a daily basis that were happening. I think at the beginning of March, we started putting out weekly e-newsletters that have been going out on Mondays. Some of those are the same things that are on Facebook, but kind of all put together in one area, and we include district updates, upcoming events, things happening this week, and recreation, which includes in there golf-related items. At the beginning of April, we got out the first printed quarterly newsletter, as you had decided last year to go to 4 times a year and not send them out with the bills. But these have been available at the district office, the clubhouse, and the recreation office. There are also some available on the table over there. One of the things we put out with the newsletter and in the weekly e-news was a survey regarding the budget. And this was really meant to be just a simple input exercise, not looking for dollars and cents from people, but just to get a general sense of what categories of our budget people are most interested in seeing money go into. And these were based on what is on our website already. So on the page on district assessments, we have them broken down by percentages. So it was a basic question. If you were in charge of the budget, where do you want to see the money going? So as of today, we've had 60 responses to that. And to summarize the responses, the top 3 categories are roads and drainage, recreation, and security. So going forward, as we get into the budget process, collectively, we can keep that in mind and see if there's things in those categories that we need to be putting more money into. The way I'm seeing it, if people are saying they want more money in that, there's things we could be doing that we're not doing now. So as a first exercise, I've definitely gotten feedback that they wish they could have added comments or put more into that. So if you're okay with us continuing to solicit feedback on different items, we can definitely take that into account and explore from there.
The 60 responses, how many were eligible to respond? What, I mean, is it 60 out of 100, 60 out of 2,000, 60 out of what?
60 out of whoever received it, either through the newsletter, Facebook, or
I know whoever received
email.
it. Do we know how many, who received
No,
it?
we didn't collect names or addresses or anything like that.
What, do we know how many we sent out? Or how many we emailed? Who's on our list? Do we know that?
We have almost 2,100 people
So
on the
60
email
out of
list.
2,100.
2,100.
Okay.
And this originated from,
That's what I would like to know.
First I
Who
saw
originated
this on
this?
Facebook, and I said, where did this come from?
Me too.
I didn't know where it,
We're just trying to be more collaborative and interactive with the residents. So not just throwing information out to them, but
okay. Well, I just-
inviting feedback from them as well.
Okay.
Cindy, our website, I was actually on an airplane last week, and I happened to sit next to somebody that I didn't know that was from this area, from Center Lake. And he said to me that he tried to go on the website to shut the water off and to have the security check and all that. He said he couldn't get on. Is there a reason why people get on and people can't get off? They don't know how to get on the website? I mean, I've been hearing for years about this website. The website is never right. How do you feel?
There's no reason on our end that people should not be able to get on it.
Okay, well,
I'm not
this-
sure where he was
Well,
trying
he
to
said he had to
access
go
it
to, he
from.
actually had to go to the office and do all the paperwork. Now, I don't know why, but I mean, for years we've been hearing about the website. I want to know your opinion. Is our website up to date?
It is up to date. There are still things we can add to it, which I'm working on. We also had 2 other websites out there. One was the SNL Recreation and one was Visit Sun and Lake.
And maybe
And
that,
I'm
I don't know
working
what it
on
is.
migrating what was on those websites into this one, so everything's together.
Okay.
I know with that form specifically, there was an issue with it at first, which we have corrected.
Okay.
And
And maybe
I'm
that's what it
actually
was.
seeing the responses coming through my email from those
Right.
forms. So I know that is working now.
All right. And I do like your idea about sending that out, even the 60 people that contacted you back. It's going to help, and I think you should, continue to keep
I mean,
going.
Yeah, I know we hear
That's a very
comments
good
all the
idea.
time about, you should be doing this, you should
Yeah,
be doing that.
right.
So,
It's a very good idea that you're doing it. I think that's good.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this. So you think that the website is up to date, right? The only reason I bring it up is if you go into the website and you pull up government or whatever it is, and you go down to district financials, and you pull up what it says for district financials, there's one report, and it's October of 2022. That's the only monthly report on the website. So I guess my point is, I think it's a great website, but I don't think you can get to everything that you need to get to. We didn't load it like we should have. And somebody needs to get into it and get involved with it.
If that's something we want added, if you want the reports that you get every month, if you want those on the website, we can add those.
Well, it should be there automatic. We shouldn't have to tell you to do this. There's a category that says district financials, and it's got 1 month.
Well, I think we should give her a chance. She's just actually, new here.
No,
I
this
think.
is not new.
Well, no, it's not new, but she is. But I think we should give her time, to improve it. And I think she has. I mean, there's 4 things she named today that are better than it was 2 months ago.
I think all the district financials are in the packet that goes with the board packet. So if you want to know anybody wants to know what you're
That
seeing,
is not
it's
the
on there.
reason, that is not a good excuse to say it was in the district, to say it's in the meeting notes. How do you know what month to look at? I mean, the idea is we set up a website, and it's a great website. It really is. You just can't get to anything.
If you want it on there, we'll put it on there. Nobody said you want
can do
it
that.
on there. You want it on there, it's on there.
Well, I think,
Anybody can ask for
huh?
Anyone can ask for the information at the district office. But
That doesn't
let's remember,
excuse the website not being correct.
if you remember correctly, a little background on that, we had pulled the plug prematurely on our old website, failed to bring everything over to our new website. So it's a build back process on the things that are
And we
missing.
haven't started to build back anything. have
Not
we?
every feature, but it is a process. It is.
We spent a lot of money for a new website. It would just be nice if people could use it correctly and have the information. I mean, if you try and pull up something, you can't get it.
If there's a button or a category that says district financials, anytime there's a bullet item, in my opinion, and you click on it, you should be able to go to whatever that bullet was.
Yeah.
But if it says district financials, the financials should come up.
Okay.
Opinion.
Or take it off. I mean, I'd rather it not
take it
even
off.
be there. If we can't do it correctly, don't entice people that it's here and then show them nothing. We don't even have the budget in there. The budget that we're currently working on is not in the website. I'd be happy to sit down with you and go over some stuff if that would help. I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, I'm happy to sit down with you.
I do have one other question for you, if I can figure out where I left off. What is the status of the old playground? When are we going to do something with it? And how long is that going to take? And have we done anything about that yet?
Our people are planning on tearing that down when the new one's in.
I'm sorry?
Our people are planning on taking that down. Our roads and drainage people are on notice to take that down when it's appropriate.
When are we going to take it down?
I would make the assumption you didn't want to take it down until the new one's up.
Correct.
Yeah, when the new one's up.
Are we going to let the new one build up and then we're going to take the old one down? And how much is that going to cost us? Because obviously that's not in the plan for the
It's
new
our
one.
people.
Huh?
It's our roads and drainage people. We're not hiring people to take that down.
So it's in-house.
Correct,
In-house, they're gonna take it down, so we're right,
correct.
right. So we'll take it to the scrapyard or whatever. So that's fine. Yeah, and that's what we should do. That's a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
So just to get back to the budget part of it.
Yeah.
It actually is, that information you're speaking of is actually on the website.
Where is it? That's the budget?
Under financials, hang on.
Yeah, show me the budget.
You know it has to tunnel in.
Show me the budget.
So if you go to the website and you navigate to the government tab, you'll see the district financials.
Yeah.
Once you click onto the district financials, you do have to drill down a bit to get where you want to go.
Financial
But-
reports. Well, go ahead and hit on it.
So
Yes, so hit on
budgets,
it.
for example, 2023 fiscal year, and it pulls the budget up in
Oh,
PDF
you put it
format.
up. All right, go back to the other page and pull up
Yes, sir.
district. Yeah.
Okay. So financial reports.
Treasurer's report.
It looks like the most up-to-date report at current is financial report 2021 for independent audit. And then annual financial report for 2021.
All right, go back, pull up treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report has from October 22.
And it's a monthly report.
That I don't know. I'm
Well,
just
I can
showing-
tell you,
yeah.
it is a monthly report.
I'm just showing you the
Yeah,
data
no, I
that's
understand.
available. Yeah.
That's the one I was referring to.
Okay, understood.
And if I ask you to pull up the golf report, that is monthly as well as the treasurer's report, you can't do it. I'm just saying, I think we just got to fix it. And nobody seems to give a damn.
We'll do it.
I got it, Mike.
You, are you wanting to address us? Come on ahead and come up to the mic.
Jeanette Perkovich. Cynthia, about the budget, I did go on the website just fine, maneuvered good. I didn't look for financial reports, but it was the percentages, like how much. I didn't know, I wanted to do it, but I didn't know what is the percentages right now. So maybe next year, say 30% is going to this, 20 to that, because I did want to, like the other gentleman addressed, talk about I wanted more money to go to the ordinances. And you said that wasn't a priority, but if I knew the percentages, I would have clicked upping the percentage for ordinances, because like on Tangier, there's a house there that's so bad. And so I kind of would have did maybe next year have what the percentage is so I could up that part. And then a public comment thing would have been good too. So I didn't do the percentage survey, but I probably would have. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I got one other thing on the newsletter if I can. Can we put that online on our website?
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
What was that, Rich?
To put the newsletter on the website.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
that way
the
it's.
other thing is right now, and I know we talked about not putting it in the water bill, but we're missing a lot of people by not mailing that out. Just tell me how much, get a price on how much it would cost us to quarterly mail those out.
It really can't go with the water bill.
No, I know, but what does it cost to mail that thing
Separately.
separately?
We can get a
to all
cost
the
on that.
residents in
Correct.
Sun and Lake? Just the cost.
We can do that.
I want to look at that.
And to end it on a positive note, the newsletter was done very well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I promise it's last thing. I just wanted to thank the board, especially for letting this golf superintendent do what he's doing. Compared to this time last year, a little bit of had a chance to be out there at the green fairways. I know you guys irrigated took all the irrigation out of the rust, but as far as the green, open ball, difference of day and night. I'm not sure how the revenue had to end up being, but I know a lot of people left here last year that have been coming here for years saying they'd never come back. Made me sick as a homeowner, but you done a hell of a job. I mean, to turn around that much.
Thank you.
Paul Pelsky again.
You got done with your last time now.
I think it's my last time. Paul Pelsky, live across the street, 5568. It's a recreation pool question. I use 3 pools in the area. I've used the one at our condo. I use this one here, and also I use the Y 3 times a week. With the people that I interface with, probably 40 to 45 every time I go to the Y, and certainly the condo people, I'm constantly being asked by snowbirds particularly why they can't come here. They want to use this facility, and they thought, according to them, and I don't know how the actual facts because I haven't looked into it, is that they have to buy a membership for a year to be able to utilize the 3 months that they would like to carve out for the time that they're here. And they feel that there's a revenue stream opportunity because they're not allowed to buy a quarter of the year. And I said, okay, well, if I ever run into somebody, I'll ask that question for the next time. So now the people that I'm with in the Y, we're all part of a water aerobics group, 45 people that when it reaches its peak. And they're often interested in water aerobics up here. I guess there's a yoga, I've never been in the class, and then the same for the people under there. So there may be an opportunity if you get it.
Are you referring to people that live in Sun and Lake or outside of Sun and Lake?
Most of these are people like over here, the condos. They're, most cases, they're owners, and they come down for 3-4 months. The rest of the time, the units are vacant, and that's like 48 units there. I'd say half of them are a mixture of Canadians and Midwesterners and whatnot that come in, and they want to use the facilities, but they don't want to pay for the year that they're not going to be here.
We do sell daily pool passes for residents and non-residents.
Okay, I know I purchased those for visitors and grandkids and stuff too.
Yeah.
So, but just thought I'd raise it as a question.
Thank you.
That might be a good opportunity.
I actually think that's a pretty good idea.
I do too.
We do it for golf.
Right.
We offer shorter memberships for people who are not going to be here all year round. Perhaps it's something we should look at in this coming budget for the pool, especially if it's going to give us more revenue.
I agree. We do have a limiting factor as to how many people you can put in the pool on any given day.
Right.
So we have to be careful not to have 500 memberships and be able to accommodate 50. So that is a challenge. Might say we need a bigger pool.
I think that's a good idea, but it should be residents only. They get that 3-month membership, not a non-resident.
Right.
I think we could do that, can't we? Residents only?
We don't offer pool memberships to non-residents.
Well, I don't think we can limit it to just residents anyway. So
Right.
We took public money for that pool, did we not?
Yes.
So therefore, we cannot exclude
But can we do
people
season?
outside the district.
Can we do seasonal for residents only?
I would think so.
We offer the daily passes to non-residents. We don't do the memberships for non-residents.
We need
So
to
they
look
get-
at the whole deal and we will do so.
Yeah, you're going to look at it? Okay.
All right. Finance Director Dane.
Hey, good morning. First item is ARPA. We continue to move forward on ARPA. I'm pushing the utilities group to move as quickly as possible, getting the products and services that are on the ARPA agreement. I'd like to wrap that up before I leave. The next issue is the RFP hail damage. The roofing company was supposed to be out here this week, but due to the rain, they pushed it back till next week. We have a meeting Friday morning to make sure we kind of coordinate with everybody, both golf and we're going to have our engineer kind of manage this project. So we're all going to get together and make sure we're all in alignment. So we line off things so customers don't get impacted in any way and keep it safe.
So we're starting with the clubhouse?
Yes, yep. We'll start with clubhouse, and my first thought is we'll probably start on one side and just, I think they'll move over, is my impression of it.
Are you coordinating with Mike so that as soon as the roof's done in the clubhouse, he can do the painting and the?
Yep. Let me get to that. I've got a little item here. But like I said, we're meeting Friday just to have a quick meeting on safety and coordinating. Next item is the FEMA hurricane damage. We just had FEMA representatives come out yesterday, and they went over Columbus, Caballero, Cortez, and Minorca, looking at the streets and one of the culverts. Just an update too, we've also received funding for the tennis and pickleball fencing for $14K. We're looking at getting that fixed. And we've also received about $30K for the generators that were used during the hurricane. I'll give you more information about our inspection as I get it that we had yesterday. But I walked it with them and along with Sunday, and they took pictures and whatnot for the reporting. The meters, we have a first process update meeting this Wednesday, tomorrow. Should give us a better idea of the process of installing the meters as a whole. And I can send you guys a follow-up email after I learn more about that. Again, we were originally targeting early May to have the site prep and first half of June to start the meter installs. Just a reminder, it should take about 3 to 6 months to have them installed, mainly dependent on the conditions that are out in the field.
Do you think we're still on track for that?
I believe so, yep, I believe so. The next item is the camera system. The camera system has been ordered, and the vendor is starting to put together the system in his office, and we'll bring it out into the field and start installing. Like most things, he's waiting on some parts to come in. With them being electronic, there's and everything nowadays, it's hard to get some things. But once I get more information as he receives the items, I can give you guys updates as they get installed.
On the camera system, I hate to do this. I know that we have not prepared for it to be in the new location where the recreation, where the playground's going. So what do we need to do to assure that when the playground is complete, we'll have security cameras in there?
So we've talked about that. We've talked about putting up a pole about midway between here and the playground itself, and we can shoot it both at the playground and if keep it the basketball courts, shoot it at the basketball courts as well.
So is that part of the package that we bought?
Not the current one, that's a growth package. But like I was saying last time, these cameras run about 150 to 350 seems to be the sweet spot, and there's different little features, but that's, you know, and you'd have to run a line out there to the pole and buy the pole itself. But I would think $1,000 or $2,000 to get some cameras out there.
I just want to be assured that when that thing's built, we're going to have security.
Yeah. You can shoot it multiple ways.
That's our intention. You can't really do it now and let them tear up the lines and everything. So we want to get the playground, at least the demucking done and the playground in, and then we'll run this camera to it. But yes, it's a fairly inexpensive deal once we get the background to it.
That's correct. Yeah. He said it's pretty simple too, just to run a conduit underground. Next thing, like budget, everybody said we've done our first pass, me and Dan have, the general and utility fund. But I've also sent it out to the managers and leaders, and we're getting with them today. Like Mike was saying, we'll be getting with golf too. So when the 9th comes around, we'll have something for you guys, but we're also going to probably be getting with you guys next week, just kind of filling you in, getting your thoughts one-on-one prior to that meeting. Next thing, going back to your painting question. Yep. So Mike has a designer coming out And she'll be getting us some options on which direction we want to go.
As far as painting?
Swatches and I believe that's the right term. Is that right? Swatches?
The color coordination, you
Yeah.
don't want me doing it for
We're
sure.
just painting the building. We got to hire somebody to tell us how to do that.
Well, if we paint it.
Which color you want put
Yeah,
on it.
exactly. That's a big one.
Okay.
So
What you want on those columns, you want those replaced, so
So we're changing the color of the building?
maybe.
Is that what
I
you're
don't
telling
know.
me?
No,
possibly.
but this will come back here, won't it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what that she's coming out here for, is to get us some ideas. We've talked about removing, I believe it's tiles on the building itself. I'm sorry.
So what are you
Stone.
gonna put on in replace? I'm certainly not competent to pick it out.
You
so I'm
don't,
trying
yeah,
to
you
get
don't want me
somebody with
picking the
taste.
color. So we're thinking we'll bring back some swatches for you guys and have you guys vote on, what color, whether it be the same or different.
I think you'd be better off just bringing it back to the board and saying, here's what we're doing, than to ask us our opinions. No
I
offense.
don't-
That's my-
No offense to anybody.
I'm
That's
not
my
going-
intention. Here's our recommendation.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know if you want me picking the colors. So I'm going to leave it up to Dan.
So are we changing the front of the building? Is that what you said? Tile or something, or stone?
The intention was, when I came back in October, or November, was to change the blue tiles to something else.
Okay. Well,
That
that's
something
been-
else hasn't
yeah,
been
that-
picked out.
Yeah, that's been talked about for years to do it. So
And then once you do that,
You gotta change- yeah.
does what you pick coordinate with the color that you have, or do you need another color?
Right,
I mean, you make one change, it begets two or three. So that's our intention. Let's make sure we do it right instead of having to do it over.
So are we paying for this designer to come out?
I believe so, but Mike, I believe she's
It's relatively minor.
very, minimal.
That's a freebie.
Certainly cheaper than repainting it because you don't like the color I picked.
And
I
I
mean,
thought-
you might wind up with pink on it.
Yeah, our thought process was to do a third party. Like I said, you don't want me picking this thing. I don't think you want Dan picking it.
No, but Dan's wife.
I
picked
should've-
it.
Well, we definitely don't want pink like your shirt, so.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. On the, I know we're not going over this today, but the last financials that came out, there was a check that was written for $349,651 to Excavation Point. And I believe, if I read it right, that was for roads. But then I look at this thing that you gave us, and it says we're going to spend another $295,000 for roads. So I'm all really confused. I need for you to give me a clarification on what that is. I know you can't do it right now.
Yeah. Let me look at that and I'll shoot everybody an email.
It was a big check. I don't know why, if it was for last year, why are we paying it in April? And if it's for this year.
I'm honestly drawing a blank and I apologize. So
That's
I'd like to get the right information and get back to you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of a big check.
Yeah.
Thanks.
General Manager Dan Stiegel.
First of all, I need to tell Dane not to bring up painting anymore. We have the fourth draft of the Florida Rural Water Association. We reviewed it last Thursday. They're making some changes to it, and hopefully we wind up with the final report, which is basically the survey that they're doing to tell us what we already know, that we need a new wastewater plant, but we have to do that in order to be able to get through the state revolving fund. So we're pretty much to the point where we're just in details now and getting it. So I should have you that maybe this week, and I'll get each one of you a copy. It's maybe 50 pages. Tells you where we are, where we need to be, the 20-year projections, and the cost structure, depending on which alternative you pick. So I should have you that this week, assuming they do what they said they would do. The mower that we ordered to go in the front of the Ventrac machine, which is what we use to mow around the lake behind the clubhouse, is supposed to be here this week. So if it does, and if it doesn't rain much more, we should be able to mow that one more time before it starts raining and we can't get in there. So hopefully we'll get that cleaned up. Our roads department has cleaned more than 2 miles of overgrown swales in unit 16, 8, and 11. If you take the contractor's estimate as to what that was going to cost us, which was between $15 and $20 a foot, depending on where you are, that we saved about $200,000 by using our own people to do that. There's still some things that have to be done out there that are too low for our equipment to use. So we'll have to go into Girona and go east, as opposed to what we did is start at Cortez and go west. So we've actually done all the swales that we can get into pretty much. And all we had to do extra expense, we have some overtime and we have one skid steer rental for 1 month, which was about $11,000. Our people have done a great job of doing that.
Very good.
Using 2 temps, we've poured 2x2 pads around all the valves and the hydrants in Sun and Lake. Everyone now has a concrete pad that's 2 foot by 2 foot. Additionally, yesterday they started repairing broken concrete in the walks along Sun and Lake Boulevard. There were some places that had collapsed there for some reason. So they're working on that now. The next project is to extend the walk from Magnolia Villas to Magnolia Place, that 23 feet that the lady who was here visually impaired last meeting asked us to do, and we're working on getting that done. It's more complicated than just going and doing it because Sun and Lake is county maintained. So we have to deal with that. Plus we have to deal with Magnolia Place HOA. So we should have that done the next 30 days. We ran into another issue with the dialysis center, stormwater management. Basically, apparently years ago, it was within code to put power lines on top of the ground and then pour concrete on top of them. When we started excavating in that area, the easement behind the dialysis center, there is a power conduit that runs into the dialysis center, which is basically their power source. We can't just move it. They have to do it. So we're waiting on the dialysis center itself to move that. Then we will go in and finish the swale. That's kind of been the never ending story. It started out a fairly simple operation that's become more and more complicated, but we still should be within budget. We still should be fine. It's just a matter of taking a while. You can see the big hole to our east. That's where the new playground will go. Contrary to rumor, that is not a new pool. It's big enough to be a pool, but it's only 9.5 feet deep. So we're moving that out of there. He should be finished this week on that. Depending on the weather, if we get a whole lot of rain, that could give us a problem there. But it's on budget and on time. The 22nd is when Rep Services is supposed to be here to begin construction of the new playground. They say it would be between 4 and 6 weeks. Sandy, I think was what they were saying. So we should be good to go on that as well. As soon as they're done with that, then our people will take down the old playground. Signed contracts last week with Excavation Point to do the $295,000 we were talking about. That is basically Pebble Beach from San Bruno all the way to the small turnaround at the end, and portions of San Lorenzo and San Ignacio. Basically, it's not quite, we were planning on 3.5 miles. Everything's gone up enough that I think it's going to be more like 2.5 or 2.6. But by the time it's all over with, we should be through. We're not going to do a new cul-de-sac at the end of Pebble Beach. That was about $100,000. Didn't make sense. Ultimately, Pebble Beach is supposed to connect with Pebble Beach on the other side. Yeah. When that ever happens, I don't know, but it didn't make sense to spend $100,000 that may or may not get ripped out of there at some time in the future. You just have to know that you're going to have the same issue on the streets as you go west. All of those streets ultimately are supposed to connect back around, but or at least go further and then go out and connect with Caballero. So there's a lot that has to happen back in there, but we just have to take it one step at a time. We can't afford to go in there and actually do the connection now. That'd probably be 3 years, 4 years worth of budget. There was a planned culvert crossing Pebble Beach at Peg Street to relieve storm water in that area. Talked to Drew last week, and we're able to do another retention pond behind those lots, between those lots and number 8 golf course hole on Deer Run. Saves us about $25,000 instead of cutting that street and putting culverts under it. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I think I indicated earlier, we've talked to Highlands County Sheriff Department and asked them to step up patrols in Sun and Lake specifically to stop speeders. We've given them several happy hunting grounds, if you will. We've had some people doing 60 miles an hour plus on Columbus Boulevard, and on Sun and Lake for that matter. So there's a lot of challenges out there, and the speed bumps don't seem to do a lot. They slow them down until they go over, and then they speed up again. So it is a challenge that I'm not sure how we address, to be honest with you. And that's all I have.
I have a question, Dan. So the sheriff's department, they are going to give tickets this time.
That's my understanding.
Okay, because they were told last time to just give warnings.
I think that was us instead of them.
It was us, well, not us, but it was them, but not us here. Just so you know that.
We asked them patrol and told them, help yourself.
Make it hurt.
Exactly. Before somebody gets killed.
Okay, any follow-up items?
I got some questions for him.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for him. I was just curious, we were gonna, I guess for budgets, we're gonna talk about compensation of the employees. We had talked about reviewing the salary compensation and the insurance plans. Are we gonna do that before budget? Or are we gonna do that during budget, or?
You can't change the insurance plan until sign up. So we are committed for this year, but we will take that into consideration as a part of the budget. Yes,
So we're gonna discuss that during budget.
correct.
What about, can you tell us where we are on openings? We have lots of openings. Do we have anything going on, like as far as replacing Dane or getting the assistant that Dane was trying to get, or any of that?
You want to address that?
Have we made any progress at all?
We've received a few resumes that have been reviewed, but I can't recommend any of them at this point. It's only been 3. We're going through Indeed, online and on our website. So at this point, there's not much traction.
So what do? We can't let it go.
We'll have to, if we're unable, Dana's not leaving until the end of June, so we have some time. And we have an opportunity to look around and see what else we can find. But I mean, you just can't conjure somebody out of thin air.
Part of the problem.
You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's part of the problem is the amount of money that we're saying that we're offering for that particular job. And it could be such that we're going to have to increase the salary for that particular position in order to get satisfactory candidates.
Either that or reduce the responsibilities that are contemplated for that area.
Well, but I hate going backwards because our whole idea prior to Dane's stating that he was leaving is to get rid of Infomart. And of course, right now, we can't do that with Dane leaving, and we don't have anyone in the ranks to fill in behind. So Infomark is our choice as of right now, but that's long-term. I think, at least I thought we pretty much decided as a group that we want to get that back in-house. In order to do so, we're going to have to possibly, during this budget and even prior to that, decide we may have to increase what we're willing to pay in order to get the right candidate. So
What is, can we ask what the salary is? Can I ask that question?
It's in the budget.
Right now,
Yeah.
the current salary is 90,000, I believe. Is set up with a 3% increase.
So we
But
can't.
we offer, our
We
bid went
advertised
out at maximum
75.
75,000.
How much, I'm sorry, what, 75?
The bid we sent out stated that the salary would be 75,000, not 90.
So there were two positions though in accounting, correct? And we haven't gotten anywhere with either of them. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So let's just sit here for another 30 days and see what happens, which is stupid.
We can't.
I know we can't.
Well, what do you say?
Well, what are we
He was
going to
being
do to fix
sarcastic.
it? What do we
Oh,
got to,
sorry.
we got to do something. We're not going to sit here and have this thing come back and hit us again. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, come up with something.
So the original plan prior to me finding out about the transfer was for me to get an accountant into that position. We started looking for that, putting it out on websites and Indeed. That really got no traction in this area. Unfortunately, there's not a big pool of people to pull from in this area.
So what does that mean? We stop?
There are other places we could advertise, like municipal, specifically municipal.
That's been done as well, yeah.
All I'm saying is, let's step it up. This is urgent. This is not something that we should wait around and, when you leave,
Yeah.
everybody can say, oh, we're screwed now. I'm trying to avoid that conversation. There are two accounting positions.
We couldn't hire an accounting company in this area.
We could look at that.
I mean,
as a
why don't,
possibility.
I mean, I hate to agree with Ray, but he's right. So.
I'd hate for you to agree with me too, but when exactly do you think you might be leaving?
I've left it open. I've spoken with Dan. I've put in my notice as of end of June, but I'm willing to work as, it's kind of an open.
Well, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I just think we're taking this thing way too lightly.
We're gonna do something, but.
We will step it up and try
I'm not
some
sure this
different
is something you can solve in a public meeting.
Yeah.
We have some alternatives, but I don't really want to come up with them right
This is the
now.
only time we get together as a group. I mean, come on. I mean, what do you want me to do?
Put you in charge of it.
I'm not in charge of it. You guys are in charge of it. And right now, you don't look like you're doing a very good job.
We'll look at some other options, like Mike was saying, maybe outsourcing, but like I've said, we've tried different avenues, Indeed, municipalities, website, and this area unfortunately does not have a big pool of human resources for this position at this point. But we'll keep stepping it up and then I agree, yeah,
Okay.
we'll step it
All
up.
right, thank
That's
you.
fine. I do have one question for Dan. There was an email about changing the office hours. Have you guys done anything or planning on doing anything about that?
Have not. We're talking about it.
Is it still a conversation or is it,
We're just kind of halfway talking about it.
okay.
Would it make sense? And I'm not sure exactly where I stand on that.
Okay, I was just wondering for an update. The other thing is, code violations. I know you all want to talk about this stuff, but somebody mentioned the trash cans before. And the last security report that came out, code enforcement report that came out, it says trash can violations issued 0. And this is for the month of March. Trash can violations complied 0. You know that's not true. I mean, well, excuse me. It is true. We didn't issue any violations for trash cans, but you know that's not correct. And I'd like to challenge the code enforcement people to do their job.
Typically, they stop and talk to the people as opposed to writing them up. And if they don't comply, then they write them up. And if they are multiple violators, then they start getting fined.
I agree with the gentleman before, Ponce de Leon going down to that second circle is a disaster. And there are trash cans all over the place, as well as other things. I just don't think code enforcement is driving by that area, I guess, I don't know.
Well, what I think, we got to stop and talk to them, and we have to write them up. Right? You have to document, and I told Bob that a couple of weeks ago, because I had a complaint, and I asked him why we're doing it. He said, well, I stopped and talked to him. Well, you know what? You only can stop and talk to so many times. You have to write them up and start finding them. And that's the way we have to do it. And the gentleman in the audience is absolutely right, but we have to start finding them.
Okay. Any follow-up items?
Yeah, I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but I have Mo Puerta, who lives on Columbus, got in touch with one of our gentlemen, I can't remember which one, and said he has a speed bump on his driveway, right where his driveway is, and asked if it would be looked at to perhaps remove it or relocate it. And he has not heard back from anybody. And this is, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Do we ever consider something like that?
That's a
It's in Woods and Irons.
That's a paved one, isn't it?
Yes, that's at Woods and Irons. It was there long before the house was built.
All I'm saying is nobody ever got back to the guy. He asked for it for consideration and nobody got back to him. So I play golf with him, so he gave it to me.
You know, I'm not going to say anything.
Huh?
No, forget it.
Fix them.
Maybe not.
Well, if he built the home after.
The home was already built and the pavement's been that way for.
Right, exactly.
So.
I'm not saying right or wrong.
So what he should have.
But if somebody.
Right, what he should have done.
Should have got back to him. But.
Right. What he should have done is when he was building, contacted the district and let him know that the building.
My house was already built.
Yeah, he didn't build the house. He bought the house already
We
built. and the
probably
speed
can't
bump
do
was there.
anything. My point is that nobody got back to him.
I
That's all
understand.
my point is. And then one last thing, and then I promise to shut up.
Really?
Yeah, I promise. You guys gave us a speed thing on Columbus, and it says that 64% of the people driving on Columbus in this area are speeding.
Mhm.
Do we do anything about that? I'm asking, I don't know. 64%, it's a high number.
The speed bumps are already there, though.
Well, this, I didn't drive by and see the area, to be honest with you, so I don't, but it,
So I wish you knew where my office was so you could come in and ask me instead of wasting everybody's time. Yes, I know about that. Yes, I have talked to the police. Yes, I have asked them to specifically look at Columbus.
oh, fine. Is that a problem for you to say it like that?
Well, why?
Come on, Dan.
You know, I'm not gonna say anything.
I'd like to say something right now. I think Dan's doing a great job, okay? He's working Saturdays, Sundays, and everything. You can't control everything that goes on here, and you guys are gonna understand that. And the speed bumps and Columbus, I live on Columbus, all right? You can't control everything, okay? So, sometimes I think we beat up employees too much.
I'm not beating them up.
I'm not saying it's you, Ray, but I'm saying we all do it. Every one of us.
I guess Southern boys don't understand New York niceness.
Right.
Let's.
You want to talk to me, you know where I am.
Right.
You don't have to do it in here.
Right. I just think we had a cool little.
You guys are the ones that put it in the book. I didn't put it in the book. You don't want me to see it? Don't send it to me.
I won't send it to you.
Dan, I think you're doing
Follow-up items.
I think you're a good job.
Any other items?
None,
New business?
No.
none.
Discussion to and from the board. I would like,
Well, we're all old men.
Javita McKinney, resident. Good morning and thank you for your service, supervisors, administrators, and stakeholders. Just wanted to give an update about the Hillsdale Charter School because I promised to. We're still moving forward We've found a location and made a, what do you call it, the LOI. So you will be hearing more, and we thank you for supporting it. So I'll announce probably in July or August, some good news. So just keep us in your thoughts. And
Can you give us the location now? No?
it's in Sebring.
Okay.
It's not in Center Lake, right?
It's not Sun and Lake.
Right.
No,
Thank
it's
you, though.
close.
Thank you for considering it. It will be in Sebring, so a lot of people will have access to it.
Okay.
And thanks for letting me announce that.
Thank you.
Can I announce that I'm thinking about running for school board
Good.
in my district too?
See ya.
President Herrick, we do need to talk about the
That's where
general
I'm headed
manager.
right now on the discussion to and from the board. I would ask that each of you, you probably already have started reviewing the candidates that we had, two of which have already withdrawn their names from consideration. I would ask that each one of you get with Dan as soon as possible and identify what you believe to be your top two, at maximum three candidates, so that we can come up with a format that says these are the top contenders in the opinion of each of us. We can't do that. Put this, I don't want to do it the first pass in a public forum. I'd like it to be in a private forum between our HR director, Dan, and yourselves, going through and identifying who you believe are the proper candidates. After that's done, they will consolidate the list, and that list will be provided to us, at which time we can identify how we want to proceed on interviewing, whether it be the person or individuals brought here for interview, or we will do it online or on phone. I would like to have that done for the next meeting at the latest, that we have our top two, preferably top two candidates identified. So if you would please get with Dan at the earliest convenience and walk through that with him and Ariel.
Not privy to number two.
Let me see your book for just a second.
Can we're missing information on candidate number 4. It said it was forthcoming.
I haven't seen anything.
Do you know if we're going to get it?
I just know about number 7, right? I think
I can
it's
find
not
out.
Candidate number 3 has withdrawn.
And 7, right? Okay,
And so,
thank you. When did?
Yes.
When did number 3 quit?
He already has accepted another job
Another job.
with a proposal.
Thank you.
Okay. Number
Yes.
3 is out.
See, we don't know.
3 and 7 are out. I thought that was out, but. So if you please do that at your earliest convenience.
it's actually 3 and 6.
6.
Pardon?
3 and 6.
3 and 6?
It's 6. 6 was the first one out.
Yeah, 6, I might have missed them.
You did.
You're right. I'm
3 and
sorry.
6, 7.
I'm sorry. Wrong one. Anything else from the board?
Just to say that Ray asked about, there's one that I read the other night that's missing something. I don't know.
We have asked to have that updated. I have not seen anything from Basinger, but I will check when I get back to the
Very good.
office.
Any other action items from the board or any talk? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.